my favorite part, reading in use of English, part 4, the so-called keyword transformations. So in this case, we have 6 sentences. Let me show you. 3 here and 3 more here. We have a keyword that's given. In this case, we do not change the given word. You have it here in the instructions. So no changing. And we have to express a similar meaning to the original sentence using between 2 and 5 words. That's why it's a transformation. It's a paraphrasing. We say the same thing in a different way, and we have some help, that keyword. Okay, so let's analyze the example. A very friendly taxi driver drove us into town. Driven. We, a very friendly taxi driver. So with driven, and we can't use drove us anymore, we start the sentence with we are prompted to think about a passive structure. And here's the example. We were driven into town. So don't forget to use all the information that you're given. By, as it's a passive, by a very friendly taxi driver. Okay? And in this case, the points are 2 points if everything you have written is correct. 1 point if one of the 2 parts is correct. So there is like an invisible line here. So for example, if you had written were driven, but you have forgotten into town, then you would get just 1 point. Or 0 points if your answer wasn't correct. Okay, well, let's have a look at the sentence here. Joan was in favor of visiting the museum. So Joan thought it would be something with idea. She was in favor, so a good idea. A good idea too. And then visit the museum. No preposition, but somehow here a preposition has appeared. So we can't use visit anymore. A good idea to go to the museum. Okay, so you have to be careful of these little traps around the exam. And we check again. John thought it would be a good idea to go to the museum. Okay, another. Arthur has the talent to become a concert pianist. Arthur is so that he would become a concert pianist. Okay, so sometimes we can start backwards with whatever connects in the other part if you see that it's easier. So in this case, that he could become in the second part is quite logical. So we have this part ready. We have our 1 point. If you don't know what to write here, you can leave it like that and still get your 1 point. So don't leave the space empty. Try. Okay, so, and now we have to express somehow talent. So we use it with adjective. So I need an adjective from talent. So Arthur is so talented that he could become a concert pianist. 3 words, that's okay. So we move on. And this is a typical transformation for a phrase with a noun, has the talent into an adjective, talented, or in this case, we had like two synonymous phrases. I am in favor of gerund and to think that it would be a good idea too. So that's another way you can think of it. If there is a phrase with gerund, then probably the next phrase here, probably, not 100% sure, is going to be with infinitive. Let's continue. Do you know when the match starts? Ali asked Mary. Okay, so this one is a very typical one. If you learn this part of grammar, you're probably going to get one of these transformations. So do the extra effort, control this type of grammar. This is the indirect speech because you always 90% you're going to get one of them. Okay, so do you know when the match starts? Mary asked Sally if she knew time. We can't use when anymore. What time the match started? We read it again just in case. If she knew what time the match started. Okay, so indirect speech, very easy. If you remember, if here is in present, we go back one tense. And if it's a question, we always maintain the subject verb order. Four words, we're fine. Okay, moving on to the next one. I knocked for ages at Ruth's door, but I got no reply. I long knocking at Ruth's door, but I got no reply. Okay, so the only phrase I can think of with a gerund and time is spend time doing. So I'm going to try this one. I spent a long time knocking at Ruth's door. Past, I checked that the tense is the same. Okay, so to do something for ages or to spend a long time doing something. Again, looking for two ways to say the same thing with two different structures. Everyone says the band is planning to go on a world tour next year. The band said. Okay, well, again, so this is again another typical one. This more difficult or more complicated passive, the impersonal passive. So the band is said. Hope you have seen that one. Why is? Because here it's present. Everyone says. So the band is said. Is planning. Okay. So after the structure, we use to. With infinitive, in this case, it's a continuous infinitive. To be planning. The band is said to be planning to go on a world tour. So another one that you should prepare or you should study that appears quite often too. And the last one, I'd prefer not to cancel the meeting. I'd rather, okay, I would prefer, I would rather. So this should make you think that there will be a change of what follows here. It has, on purpose, we're looking for two different structures. It's not going to be the same. So it's not going to be an infinitive with two, even if you don't know what follows rather. But your brain should be thinking, okay, it's either gerund or infinitive without two. In this case, it's I would rather do something, infinitive without two. And then cancel, but I have call, phrasal verb, our favorite phrasal verbs. And the one for cancel, is quite often here, quite common. So it's to call off. So I would rather not call off the meeting. So if you need any help with any of these, I have a little book following some of these typical structures that I told you about. There's a worksheet on phrasal verbs, on passives, including this kind of passive, on some collocations, indirect speech. So comparatives and structures with so and such. And these are collocation again. So good luck on your exams.